Nation, welcome back for yet another top 10 video. This time we're going to do the worst. It's been a little while. It's been a minute since we've done this. My apologies for not getting one out, but we're going to jump back into the 80s and we're going to jump into the worst cartoons from the 80s. Whew. There's a lot that could have went on this list. Just like I thought there were some that could have probably went on the top 10. One that was brought to my attention was Count Duckula. Count Duckula is a top 10 from the 80s. Anyway, this is the worst. These are mainstream for me. I'm not going to pick. There were some cartoons that had like no toy line, no anything, and those were the ones, they were the worst. But I'm not going to pick on those little guys. I'm going to pick on some of the ones that I just thought were the worst. Growing up as a kid, I never watched them. I did play with some of these toys that I'll explain in the video, but that's kind of my parameters. It had to be kind of a mainstream, not a second tier or bottom of the rung. So here we go. Let's see what my top 10 worst cartoons of the 80s are. All right, let's start off at number 10. Mine starts off at 1981 with the Smurfs. I will say this, that when the Smurfs were on, I watched it. However, it's just a bunch of boys. They threw in a girl to try to add it in. There's one crusty old man with a cat and couldn't figure it out. Never really hit home for me. Look at those toys. Look like they were made out of clay. Number 9, one that never really hit with me was Silverhawks. To this day, I still don't know the plot. It's like a rock band that's in outer space that are changing into rock stars that went after octopus people. I don't get it. I never will understand it. That's why it made my top 10 list. Number 8. Not gonna lie, this one I would watch all the time because there was nothing better than 80s wrestling. But watching this really was just goofy. You had a bunch of bad guys who really weren't bad guys because they couldn't turn heel to face because you never knew what they were gonna do. And Hulk Hogan was the ultimate warrior hero in the world. Number 7, Care Bears. Again, I'm a boy. I played with boy toys. But I had some of these as a kid, and I watched the cartoon, and there was nothing good. It was kind of just creepy and cringy. I went back and watched it. It's still creepy and cringy. Number 6, one of my favorite toy lines ever, but terrible cartoon. This had so much potential, and nothing really came of it. Look at those bad guys. They're awesome looking. Had great humans, characters, kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons thing, and then changing the vehicle parts, they just missed out on it. This one hurts my heart being on the list, but I had to be true to it. Dino Riders. One of the coolest toy franchises ever. It doesn't get enough love. Dude, it's dinosaurs, it's brain boxes. Awesome, awesome reptilian bad guys fighting wars with dinosaurs, and it never took off. I'm probably going to get some heat from this one, but I just didn't like the anime style of it as a kid. To me, going back and watching it, I understand where Power Rangers from, and I don't like Power Rangers. I just don't like this whole, we got a team of 5, let's combine kind of a thing. It's on the list at number 4 for me. Number 3 is a cartoon that I just don't understand at all. I understand that the 80 like Cyndi Lauper thing that was going on with it, but there was never a bad guy. Like, the bad guy was the agent. It was just them trying to get a gig and fighting other girl bands and stuff like that. It wasn't for me. It was Mean Girls before Mean Girls was out. Number 2, yeah, I know, you're yelling at me. Thundercats. Thundercats had some of the best villains, some of the best, a lot of things. The writing was terrible for this cartoon for me. There was no plots. The plots had holes in them, and they always just made stuff up. Deep, deep, deep from the abyss, Inhumanoids. I thought this one would have had a lot to do, but it just was before its time. I think it'd be something cool for Netflix to take over right now and just kind of make it like a rated R TV show. I think it would take off and be a pretty big hit. But back then, it was terrible, and it's my number 1. Thanks for joining the top 10 worst cartoons of the 80s. I hope you liked, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me what I missed. Peace out, home skillets.